Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, put your feet up. It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast with Declan McCormack, Wayne Mullins and Dan.
Three lads, one podcast.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, the sound system is back to being shit. Spud's Buds makes its way into Turner's Cross. We set up the world's first food stall that only sells raw liver. Tim Clancy talks about the media. Will Liam Kearney be the new Air Jordan? Wayne actually enjoyed the treaty game. Decky's Room 101, the weekend previews, and of course, we go to our mailbag. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Welcome to the Other Three Amigos podcast, season 4, episode 32, episode 208 in total. A reminder, we are, of course, your award-winning podcast. We're on our 208th episode. We've just bypassed Little House on the Prairie with 205 episodes there. A reminder, of course, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/TOTAP, where you can join us for €5 per month or give us a tenner as well if you want to support the pod a little bit further, but still get the same level of content. Be sure to retweet it. It's so important to help us grow. Even giving us a like here and there helps as well. Proud sponsor of Jack Doherty's Boots. We're at €110 for Marymount. Of course, we got the goal against Treaty United. So one goal with JD not starting. Las Damas was released earlier today. Or earlier Monday, it'll be by the time you're listening to this. But, so go back and listen to that. I'll introduce my first amigo here, Declan McCormack. I'll go to you first. I feel like I always go to you first, though. Maybe I'll change it next week. How are you getting on?
Very good, Dan. Very good. Thanks for having me again this week. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. I felt like there was almost not going to be a podcast tonight.
Yeah, just that's 2 nights running now. There's been technical issues. But look, we're here. We won't look back. We look forward and keep going.
Wayne Mullins.
Yes.
How are we?
Good. A drama-filled last half hour, but look.
Yeah, you might have to ditch at some point, but
I might want
to use it as long as you can.
A calm podcast now when we get out of here quick. 20 minutes, job done, hopefully.
If there's ever a podcast for that to happen, this could be the one.
It'll be tonight. I'm shook.
Look, don't mind the theme music. We'll just go straight into the Academy match. Under 20s.
No. What are we doing? Our team music? We're nothing. So Decky's in charge today, so expect it to be about 3 seconds long.
Yeah, I do get to make the choices though, don't I? I'm trying to remember now, lads. What one am I looking for?
Young Hearts.
Just before you hit it, we had a poll last week about Pat the Jamaican song. Where was it again? Here it is. And I asked a question: is it too long? Is it just perfect, or is it too short? What do you think the results were, Decky?
Oh man, I haven't looked. I'm hoping that people agreed with me that it's too long.
So there was 13 votes, massive 13 votes.
I didn't see this.
8% said it's too long, 38% is just right, and 54% of the public said it needs to be longer.
There you go.
The public have spoken.
Just play it on loop.
Fair enough. All 13 votes have been taken into consideration.
I'm just on Twitter here, and since Pat keeps tagging me in those things, I see the notifications come up. I'm like, what fucking controversy in the GA community have I caused now? I'm like, oh, jeez. But then it's just Pat Straughans. I'm like, all right, phew, escaped.
Who are the two cowboys on the hill?
There's 3 now. He added a third one. The updated version has a third.
Oh, is there an updated version?
There's an updated version with 3 cowboys. So it is 3 amigos. The question is it the other 3? Is it the other 3 amigos, or is it the 3 amigos? That is the question.
Oh, because he tagged us all. He tagged us all individually. So,
they're amigos, all right? Or the cowboys? I don't know. You see, can't tell.
They're amigos now. I think they were just. I don't think he gave much thought, but he just put 2 cowboys in the background. Then people pointed it out. If there was a third one, they could be amigos. So he added a third one to make them amigos. But again, it's a very clever drawing.
The higher moral ground, as they say.
It's a very clever drawing.
They all are.
Right.
Young Hearts. Under 20s beat Limerick 3-1. O'Shea and Murray by 2. Under 17s beat Limerick 5-1. Hanover, O'Donovan, Pilo, Ogbenge and Hurley. Under-15s had no game. Under-14s had an academy development day in Abbottstown. There was no fixtures or results on CCFC Academy and no results on FAI Connect. How would you find these out?
The fixtures were there, but there was no results. So the fixtures were set for yesterday. Shells against City, Shamrock versus City, and City versus Bows. But there's no results on the app or no results on the CCFC Academy page.
Okay.
That's because it's that Academy Development Day. They're not concentrating on the results. They're just concentrating on everybody getting together and learning and developing and all that stuff. So I presume that's why there was no results published. Because
there was the last time.
Sure.
It's just strange. This time we didn't.
And our academy,
I think we won 6-0 all 3 games. I think.
Brilliant, fantastic.
And our amputee team had no game. It is time to get in to Commie Watch.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
The sound system was shit.
It was horrendous.
Wayne Mullins going to here.
Couldn't even hear from it. It was terrible. It's like, did they give you something and take something else away? You know, it's like keeping us on our toes all the time. It was horrendous. Couldn't hear from where I was standing, and no one else around me could hear either. So we were even questioning what the song was going on the pitch. No one could hear it. So look, I know he had a temporary one in, but that's gone as well for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't cost effective, but it was a promise made by the club, and it's gone again. So don't know.
Declan McCormack, did you find the sound system to be shit?
Do you know what? No. As I sit here, and I was in Turner's Cross Friday night, I can't recall in the slightest. I don't think I heard any announcements. I'm trying to think back now that it's pointed out, but I can't recall hearing any announcement of anything in the Donny Ford. I can't remember hearing any music. I can't remember hearing anything, but maybe that was just because just chatting to the lads for 90 minutes, and we'll come to that later on, and I wasn't maybe taking much notice, but as I sit here now, I genuinely can't say that I heard anything in terms of music or announcements being made.
The only time I heard clearly was when they were shouting Cork City FC and the goal scorer. You could clearly hear that because he was shouting on the mic. But anything else, the music, team sheets, couldn't hear it. You could hear it, but you couldn't make it out. And I'm on a complete different side of the ground to Decky there. So
is this a new system altogether?
No, it's the old one. They just haven't got they brought in these big speakers.
The speakers in front.
They weren't there, which I understand. Look, there were 2,500 people at the game. Like it's probably not cost effective, but it was part of the. You know, it was one of the
match day experience.
Yeah, it was one of the main things with the toilet speaker system and food, and the speaker system wasn't great.
Well, what about Spuds Buds?
Yeah, I don't know what the name of it. It was a new potato van. It was selling Spuds with a potato filling. It looked decent for a tenner. Yeah. A potato, baked potato with filling in it. You could have taco or other one. I can't remember what it was, but tenner. It looked good. I didn't have it because I was full. I usually feed myself before I go because the food is normally a different taste. But I will try this one next time, 100%.
Dickie, will you be giving Spuds Buds a go? A loaded potato?
I feel like you're going for something there, Dan, but I just can't quite get what you're going for. But
I was like, surely there's a pervy joke in here somewhere, but it'll come out eventually.
I can't remember what the exact name was. It was Spuds Buds or something. It was, I don't know what it was. It was a catchy name anyway. If it wasn't Spuds Buds, we should probably create one called Spuds Buds.
The other three amigos chip van inside Turner's Cross.
Be like the lads from the Young Offenders when they had their chip van in Turner's Cross. It'd be probably something similar.
Why is these lads sending raw liver out the back of it?
Yeah, I could. Could you imagine arriving up to a chip van and myself and Scotty are there to serve you? You're like, I mean, Jesus Christ, you're not going to take anything off us anyway.
There's a dare in there somewhere now, like.
When we eventually get Richie into Turner's Cross, myself and Wayne will serve him. And see how that goes.
Tim Clancy talking about the media during the week, and I guess this caught our attention. He's saying he suggested, I can't remember his exact wording, but some media outlets out there are kind of saying we've been poor, or that we're all about the league being weak. Dick, did you see Tim's comments about that?
I did, yeah. Come here, like he's well entitled to stand up for himself, for his players, for his club. The world and their mother knows the league is shit. I'm pretty sure Tim Clancy knows the league is shit, but he obviously can't say that, and he's never going to say that. He has to be seen to thing, and like there's an element of you can believe the league is shit, and you can still believe that Cork City should get credit and should be given credit for performing well and being 10 points clear and all those. Like, so we spoke about this early in the year. Like, I think Tim he's entitled to point it out. I think he's not going to get much sympathy. I'll be honest with you. I think there's an
the media outlet he's talking about is us. Let's face it.
Well, no, Dan, because
I'm not necessarily.
We've no media accreditation. So it can't possibly be us.
Yeah, true.
Journalistic integrity
gone out the window.
To be fair, Graham Cummins spoke a lot in his Echo articles about the league being weak and things like that. So I did think that there was maybe an element of us, but I don't know whether Tim listens to this or not. He'd be mad if he was, I'd be honest with you. And Graham Cummins, I think, was, in my view, was probably one of the people it was aimed at. But as I said, Tim is quite entitled to say what he wants to say. And it's like, this is the Tim Clancy that this was Tim's reputation around the league before he came down here, as somebody who will bite back at the media, as somebody who's a good interview because he will say what's on his mind, and he'll have a go if he thinks somebody's wronged him or what. Like, and I got a message from somebody maybe 6 weeks ago saying, like, what's happened to Tim Clancy? There hasn't been one fiery interview. There hasn't been one where he's pulled anybody in the media or any of that stuff. So, listen, I think he's entitled to do it. I think I kind of argue that we should probably see more of it. And, I've no issue with it. Like,
he's fully entitled to do it, but I'm just questioning what media. Because as far as I'm concerned, who turns up for these media days is probably Trevor Welch. Anyone else show up to those? We've no media partner. We're not media. It's not like if you're in Germany, you've got Das Bild and you've got DW. In Spain, Madrid, you got Marca. Like, there's nothing here. So which media are we talking about? I haven't seen it. The only people I've seen spoken are us. I don't think it's on with us. But no, I've seen nobody else talk about this. Just the forum. Fans, basically.
To be fair, like, if you listen to LOI Central, if you listen to Between the Stripes, if you listen to different podcasts, the RT one, I mean, everybody references a weak first division. Everybody references a poor first division, So it could have been aimed at anybody, to be honest. And here's the thing: I don't think he was looking to have a pop back. He was just making the point that there's been a lot of talk about from outside the club about it being a poor division and this kind of stuff. And he was saying it was disrespectful to the teams we were playing. Like, I don't think anybody's going to buy that, to be honest with you. I think there's also an element of, this is Cork and you're in Cork now, and this is how it works in Cork. If we win 1-0, we should have won by 2 or 3. If we win 3-0, we should have won by 4 or 5. If we drew, we should have won. If we lost, we should have drew. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not Drogheda, it's not St. Pat's, and there's a bigger pressure here, there's a bigger expectation. And he's correct. The club, the players, the management, everybody deserves credit for being 10 points clear. But Cork's not the kind of place that you'll always get the credit that you might feel you deserve. Whether that's fair or not, it's probably not. But it's just the way it is.
Do you think that'll be an issue next year? Because, I mean, there'd be obviously a huge added pressure being the Premier.
No, because it's the same media. Like, if it's LOI Central, if it's RT, he needs to do a RICO here and start talking about the Dubs against us. That's the perfect time to do it. Not just label it the media. Like, point them out, say it. Don't just leave it kind of dangling there as if people are who we talk. I don't know who he's talking about. As Decky says, if
There's
it's
three
NOI
bollocks on the
Central,
podcast.
it's definitely not us because you don't know he listens to us. So it's obviously the Dublin media. Call him out.
We'll get the whole fan base behind you straight away.
Absolutely, that's the key.
Dickie, agree with everything there?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, you can, if you want to call media outlets out. I don't think Tim does, to be honest with you. But if he did wish to go that route, I think you do build that us against them mentality, which is what we've always, our successful teams down here have always been built on that. You know, Dolan did it. Rico did it really well when he came in after Dolan. Obviously, JC did it. Richie tried to do it last year. His options for doing it were quite slim at the time. He went with the no guard of honor. It worked. It got fans behind him. Just unfortunately, it didn't work as well as he had hoped. But as I said, Richie wanted to do other things, but he was limited in what he could do or what he was allowed to do. So it was what it was, you know. I think Tim is right in what he's saying, but I don't think much is going to change.
Shamrock Rovers are still sour about that one. Doing our own kits and merch under the Rebel Army clothing brand. St. Pauli, we have an example here. They're going back to Puma after 2 years of doing it themselves. Wayne Mullins.
Yeah, they decided to call their brand DIY, but they couldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? They couldn't use the word DIY, so they called it DIY. And for 2 years, they had their own kits, and they're going back now because they need sustainability and fair trade clothing, and they couldn't get it anywhere, so they did it within Germany, and they were guaranteed it. So they're now going with Puma because they've been guaranteed that. I suppose it's a question we have as well for where we're getting our kits. Like, is it all done through fair trade, sustainability? Of course, all this comes into it as well. Like, it can't be just buying off, you know what they say about pennies and stuff, getting their stuff from China, all that kind of malarkey. So you just got to be careful to what we're doing, you know. And it's kind of something that no one's kind of raised yet, but I imagine it will be raised when the kits arrive, which then will be too late to bring it up. You know,
it shows my ignorance, but it didn't even enter my head until
it didn't enter mine either. And I wouldn't be into that too much, but it's questions people will ask. You know, when St. Pauli went to their new one, their fans and their members demanded certificates. But that's a different club to we're. It's what Bows would do probably. We're not in that area. Yeah. I hope we kind of don't go that area either. But again, it's an area the club kind of need to walk carefully.
You're a big fan of child labour. What are your views on it?
Yeah, look, I mean, I never thought of the sustainability and that kind of stuff. Even though that Scotty's mentioned it, I'm just kind of going, fucking forget it. Like, you know, there's much bigger issues to do. And I know there'll be people listening to this saying I'm a prat and all that, but it's not high on the list of things that concern me, to be honest with you. I was surprised.
He's right. I might be the same. It's not something that bothers me, like, but it's something that people will question, and that's something I hope the club have done their research on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These are the things now the club will be answerable for. You know, so that's it. I mean, the thing that kind of surprised me was the reaction to it during the week and the feedback we got, because I thought people would be very kind of iffy on it, and I think it's been largely positive way, and isn't it? You know, it's like people going, well, look, we'd be interested to see how it goes, but it's worth giving it a shot, kind of thing, you know. So it's done and dusted now anyway. And the most interesting thing was nobody came back to any of us at any stage and said you're wrong or it's not happening. So now we know for a fact it is happening because nobody has come back and said it's not happening, if that makes sense for people, you know. So it is happening. Stuff is ordered. It's not in yet. There's a large quantity of garments, shall we call them, coming in at some stage. Probably paid for up front, I'd imagine.
That's what I heard, right?
So there would have to be, you know, work done, badges, sponsors, whatever added But as we said, nobody has seen the design, or nobody has given us a design anyway, or shown us a design, so we have no idea what's coming. But look, hopefully it's good. And as I said, fair play to the club for trying to do something that very, very few other clubs have done or attempted to do.
Wayne Mullins, what are you hoping for? I was kind of thinking Rebel Army, like do a camo, like third kit or something.
I don't know. I think, are we going to go stay white? Are we going back to green? I hope we stay white. I hope we go white, green, white.
Be good to see it in the Premier anyway, at least once.
It would, yeah. I think our original colours really, to me, are white, green, and red, always. It's something that I think it's a great idea to try. I just have a big fear that we're getting into the unknown. And again, as I say, if you pay for it all up front, there's no reason for them to hold on to the design because you're coming back. There's pros and cons to doing that, but look, they obviously know what they're doing. We were the first people to buy the jersey. It's obviously going to be cheaper because they're getting it for a cheaper cost. They're going to obviously not charge the fans it's not a brand. This is the problem. Kids want Adidas, Nike, Puma. They want all these. This is going to be own brand. The price range is going to be that's a dangerous territory. You have to be careful what you price it.
Decky.
Can I just ask Wayne, because you know much more about this than me, and you say it's a brand and kids want to wear Adidas, Puma, Macron, whatever it might be. But isn't it a great way to get a brand? Isn't it a great way to get a brand out there in terms of kids want to wear Cork City jerseys? So if they wear a decent Cork City jersey, that is the Rebel Army clothing brand, then they see other Rebel Army clothing branded tops and T-shirts and hoodies or whatever it might be, and they go, okay, the jersey was good, I now want to wear a Rebel Army clothing hoodie or whatnot. And it's a way of building the brand from a good foundation or a good base, if that makes sense.
The only way you do that is if you get like the one, is it 11 degrees? Rick came out of nowhere. He was a man from Geordie Shore, set it up, and he got all these stars to wear them on Instagram, influencers, and that's how it becomes a brand. Sticking it on Cian Murphy, King Coleman, or any of the players isn't going to make it a big brand. You need to have random lads in the States, UK, Ireland, wearing it on their TikTok, wearing it on their Instagram to make it cool. That is the only way. If we go up there now, sticking John O'Flynn on the goalpost wearing the jersey, it's never going to become a cool brand. You need to have cool people wearing cool clothes. It's really as simple as that. And that costs money.
Dickie, would you consider modelling for Rebel Army clothing?
I was just going to say, if the price was right, and obviously I'd be modelling the larger sizes, the bigger garments, but for the fuller male. But I'm willing to model those. I'd be willing to model those items to show the fuller males out there that yes, they're a snug, comfy fit. So see what happens. Have their people contact my people, and we'll see what happens.
Dick, if you were to get a design on the T-shirt, you have free reign. Like an alternative kit now, we'll say, not a home or away one. What would you go with?
An alternative kit, not a home or away one. First thing that pops into my head, I would go with a silhouette of Liam Kearney scoring the first goal against Derry on the last night at the Shed, with the Shed in the background, and put that silhouette into a jersey, and then put your stuff over.
You're trying to get a brand and be cool. That's not going to work, like.
Well, but I'm sorry, he just said, what would I do? I'm not trying to, I didn't realize, I wasn't from brand building or being cool point of view. I was just like, that was the first thing that popped into my head.
Well, it could be like the Jordan thing, where he's doing with the basketball and the leg split,
Exactly. But there has been, clubs have produced jerseys with moments kind of silhouetted on the jerseys, haven't they?
They have, yeah. Look, loads of them. Bose did it. Bob Marley, and they did the darts, didn't they? Almirante Brown has, the club have Guiman Brown, Guilherme Brown on the jersey. Yeah, I suppose people do it, yeah.
Hat tip to the video on Buckley Park. Wayne Mullins, did you get emotional earlier looking at this video?
I did. Buckley Park, there's a video on it. Some fella did he was there yesterday and he recorded it, and it's just so sad to see. Buckley Park in Kilkenny, it's like a lovely ground, way ahead of its time. 2 stands. Like, it was quite nice, a new stand. And it's just sad to see it all overgrown.
They've no population for it either.
They don't, but like, surely Kilkenny is still big. Like, it'd be a great away trip. Oh my God, I'd love to go on the last year. I was too young to be doing that when it was around. It was the mid-90s, I think, when they folded, or late 90s. But it's just a lovely ground. It was a bit like Longford when Longford was first built, Flancare Park. It was a lovely ground at its time. It still is, really. Like, it's better than most grounds in Ireland.
It'll come back eventually.
There's a club supposed to be going in there, some local team, but it's just a shame seeing it. Like, it hasn't been touched in years. The nets are still on the goalpost, like, mad stuff.
Jesus Christ, they haven't been ripped off.
I know, yeah.
Dickie, do you have any fond memories of Buckley Park, or could you give a shit?
No, I was never there. I heard a great story about Kilkenny City back in the day, all right, but I was never there. But I have a cousin who's married to a guy who played for Kilkenny City once upon a time. They're from 2 seasons, and they're from Waterford. And they were travelling up from Waterford, and the manager, whose name I won't mention, but everybody know who I'm talking about, but he's dead anyway, so you can't libel the dead. But he was, so there was there was 3 or 4 people travelling up with the manager every week to trade it or whatnot. So end of season, dinner dance or whatever thing, and chairman calls your man and says, "Look, we're going to leave you go. We can't afford to pay you." Your man's like, and at the time they used to get cash, you know, the manager give him cash on a Thursday or Friday or whatever, the envelope, like. And your man says, "Sure, can't afford to pay me." So I'm not that well paid, like, I'm only lower third, like. Your man says, "No, you're not, you're on X." He was like, "No, I'm fucking not, I'm on Y." Like, the manager told the club he was giving him this much and pocketed the middle bit, giving your man the X then at the thing, like, you know. So it's like, okay.
Keep up the name of the manager, so they're actually.
yeah, you know. But that was the League of Ireland, like, that's how it was working at the time, like, you know. So
there was a fellow who played for Kilkenny, and he went off to play in Iceland, wasn't it? And he was one of Iceland's top scorers in the Icelandic League for 3 years. I can't remember his name. One of the strikers for Kilkenny many years ago. Yeah.
Oh, never heard that, no.
Anyway, we'll drive it on to Chicken Talk. I mean, I don't think we have an update. I just want to hear the song.
Now this is Chicken Talk. And this is what they say when the chickens they do laugh.
Jeez, Wayne, do you have a chicken behind you? There's an old bark there, I think, before Dickie hit the song.
It's a somewhere. It's a bark.
Do we have any update, lads, on this fuck off? When's this thing happening anyway? Is it next week? Is it June?
I don't know when it was on, to be honest with you.
Did the costumes arrive
last time? Look, we're still talking to the lads, the college lads, like, so don't say too much now.
Maybe delete that actually.
Between us, is there actually costumes ordered?
There's a reason why you don't know, Dan.
Yeah. Here.
No, Dan, there's no costumes ordered, just in case you feel left out.
There's no costumes, and we're not turning up at all. Don't worry.
Anyway, Cork City 1, Treaty 1. Possession. CCFC 71% of the ball. Limerick with 29%. Jesus Christ. We didn't do a whole lot with it to Wayne Mullins.
No, well, we kind of did, really. Like, we had 529 passes. And we had, like, which is a lot of passes in the game, and 443 of them were successful. So I just think, like, we tried a lot of crosses in the box, and we had like a 40% cross rate, success rate, which is massive. So the problem was, they were getting the crosses in. We just weren't getting on the end of them. We had one shot on target the whole game. Like, that's... Sorry, no, Tim. I know the media are saying that's scandalous, like. I enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed it. Main reason was Treaty scored. There was a bit of jeopardy. The last 20 minutes, it was all like, oh shit, we're going to lose this game. And I actually really enjoyed the game. I found better.
You're the only person I've heard say that.
I know, but did you not enjoy the part where like we could have lost that game and there was a bit of jeopardy? There was a bit of oh Jesus, like what's going to happen? Instead of being 3-up, we're like if we were 3-up at halftime, I was going home. I would have a potato. I would have had a potato with bloody
Spud Buds.
The problem was it was so enthralling. I thought not enthralling. It's the wrong word. It was decent. Yeah, we should have won the game, but we'd one shot on target. One. Like, is it the players not getting the right positions? Is it their off the ball runs? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like 83% passing success rate, which is higher. Normally we're 75.9. We're obviously just ticky tacking out to the box, getting into the box, and it was being cleared. But yeah, I enjoyed it as a fan, but it wasn't great as a spectacle. It was just as the jeopardy and the kind of the fear of losing the game. More of that now, please, Tim.
Dicky, how the mighty have fallen from giving out stink about a 1-1 draw with Finn Harps to now being delighted with a 1-1 draw against Limerick.
It's a weird season, mate. And it's affecting everybody in different ways.
What way is it affecting you?
Me, I'm just bored to distraction. I'm not going to lie. And I know, look, as you guys have pointed out, we had one shot on target. That was from a penalty. That was in the 6th minute or the 7th minute or something?
Yeah, 6th minute, I think.
It's never a penalty. It's never a penalty. That's given against us and having an absolute conniption. What's the lad doing? He fell as he was kicking it in his hand. There's no deliberate action. There's no, it's just not a penalty. But I had said last week, if we score early, brilliant, because Treaty have to come on. We have to open them, and we'd be so much better. And it was just the same thing. Look, I'm sorry for repeating myself. And Tim said this afterwards as well, so he obviously agrees. There was just no tempo. We just do nothing at pace. It's a gentle stroll. It's like, lads, we go for a walk around Turner's Cross there on Friday evening. And that was Treaty's second team. And their bench was so weak, it was frightening. And when we went 1-up after 6 minutes, I said, here we go. That 4-0 that I predicted, there's a chance that gets blown out of the water here and we really do them over, especially with the team they had out. We never raised the gallop afterwards, and Tim was very disappointed afterwards, and he was putting it on the players. And I think he's right, because he can't go out for them and make them play at a tempo and make them play at a pace. And I know it's what Wayne has said. There's no jeopardy, and even the players know there's no jeopardy. And it's there was only 2,500 people there. I think a big part of that is that there was no jeopardy. There is no jeopardy. People are openly saying it. We're going to win the league, and it's a very, very difficult and tricky situation for the club to be in. And I guess the club has a positivity only mantra. And you can get that from listening to the Rappers podcast, and everything is, it's positive and it's great and there's this and this. And then you listen to this and we're all just going, can the season just end so we can get back to playing Premier Division football again? And I think the idea, I think it's Friday night was the first. There was 7 of 9 games at home. So from here on in, 6 of the next 8 are at home. And I think the club have this idea that it's going to be big home attendances, and it's not. It's very difficult. Scotty will tell you here, when you have young kids like we both do, I'm not getting 6 passes the next 8 Friday nights. It's just not happening. Whereas when you're home and away, you're only kind of I'm only going to Cork every second Friday night. I was at home the Friday night before, so there's no issues. Whereas I'll go 2, the third one, she's going to look at me and go, hang on, no, you were out the last 2 Friday nights. Oh, don't worry about it. If I go for the 4th one, head will just be ripped clean off my shoulders, and that's fair. And there'll be lots of people in that position, and you just get bored. So I think the idea that there's going to be this massive 6 home attendances, I think that's massively flawed. I think it actually works against us that the games were switched. We didn't think about it at the time, but it really struck home for me on Friday night when there was 2,500 people there. I was like, by the time the 9th game comes around and 7 of them have been at home, how many people are going to be in the stadium, especially when it's the way it was against Treaty on Friday night. And it's really unfortunate for Tim, because they said he was fair enough to make the points that he made, but then his team goes out and that's the performance and that's the result. And everybody kind of goes, well, you don't have much of a ground to stand on, no, Tim, like, how can we give you credit for that performance? How can we give you credit for that result? Like, Treaty were missing Enda Curran, they were missing Yo-Yo Maddie, they were missing David Tarmy, Mark Walsh, Robbie Lynch, Callum McNamara, Oisin O'Reilly, all guaranteed starters. Like, that's 7 of their starting 11 they're missing. Then, according to people at Treaty, Mark Murphy, Sean Costello, Rickoff Bovey, Fionn Doherty, Conor Carew, and Mark O'Halloran, all under 20s who featured on the first team bench in the last few weeks. None of them were on the bench because none of them were available. So you really had a really weakened Treaty side who hadn't won in 13 games. We scored after 6 minutes. There's no excuse for not putting them to the sword. There's no excuse for not moving the ball quickly, for not doing things at pace. There's just no excuse for it. And I understand what Scotty's saying. Yes, there was a bit of jeopardy, and like Lee Devitt had his chance. Scott, what was it, with 5 or 6 minutes, inside the box, and he swung his leg at it, and I thought, here we go, Mary Munter losing out in the grand, but he put it over, But Treaty probably created better goal scoring opportunities than we did. I know Scotty has the XGs there, and their XG is 1.06 and ours is 1.44, but the penalty is 0.75 XG. So without the penalty, our XG is actually 0.69 and theirs is 1.06. So
Jesus Christ.
It was just poor. It was just poor.
Wayne Mullins.
Yes.
Picking up on it there. Are you just happy with the jeopardy? Like, I mean, I think Dickie's right, to be honest.
He's completely right. I'm just saying I enjoyed, for once this season,
true.
That we could have lost the game. We were terrible. We were absolutely terrible. And everyone knows that. And if anyone at the club at the minute is kind of going, oh, it's fine, lads, don't worry, they need to look at themselves in the mirror big time. No one can be happy with that. And ignore the media. Just get on with it and win the games.
Do you just think
draw
the players,
a few goals, give us a bit of jeopardy joyness, like, but other than that, we shouldn't be.
Players in coast home mode at the moment.
I think everyone is really, even the fans are like. You could see there was less than 2,500 people at the game, or was it just about 2,500? That's a terrible attendance for this club. No matter what division we're in, that's our core support's about 2,000. That's the kind of worst case scenario.
If it goes under that, you'd be getting seriously worried.
And when you have no kind of connection with the fans and the management and the ownership and the club itself and everything, like, at least with Colin Healy, club legend. Before that, you had Forest people owning the club. Before that, then, you had Dolan, Rico, all that kind of thing going on. There's nothing there now. There's nothing to feel, this is Cork, like, where, it's just like, we're a football club. That's a different story for a different day, do you know?
No, I think they're all hugely valid points, to be honest, because, Jackie, do you agree what Wayne is saying there? There's no Corkness at Cork City?
Yeah, well, to a degree, I suppose. I think, I'm not sure it's that there's no Corkness, it's just that there's no, it's just, we're victims of our own misappropriations last year, if we had appointed Tim Clancy when Colin Healy walked out the door, we would be a Premier Division club now. I absolutely guarantee it. Because he wouldn't have bought the shit show that was brought during the summer in terms of the players that we recruited. He wouldn't have had it. He wouldn't have done it. He would have had a system in place. He would have had the system we have now where we would have been very good off the ball, and he would have ground it out, and he would have kept us out of the bottom two. And if he didn't keep us out of the bottom two, I guarantee you he would have beaten Waterford in the playoff. And that's no reflection on Richie. That's not having to go on anybody else. Richie had the tools that he had, which was a bunch of shite players, a bunch of poor players, and then a bunch of players who had a poor attitude. and you mix the two, and you probably had no chance, to be honest, And Richie could do nothing with it, like, to be fair. But, like, as I said, we were just poor off the pitch last year. We were poor on the pitch, and we're suffering for that now. If we go back up, I think it changes again. I think we do get that mentality, because how do you have that mentality when you're playing Bray Wanderers, Continuity Cabinteely, when you're playing Wexford? Like, none of us give a shit about them. Like, at least, like, first, if we go up, well, yeah, sorry, Wayne loves Brave, apart from that, like, but if we go up next year, I guarantee you, our first game next year in the Premier Division will be a home game against one of the big Dublin clubs, because it's what they've done with the promoted teams over the last 3 years. If you look last year, Waterford played Shells at home first. Galway played Pats at home on the opening night. The year before, we opened at home against Bows. So there's now a pattern there where the promoted club is going to start at home against one of the big Dublin clubs. If Shelburne are champions, Shelburne will start at home. So that leaves us. We did Bows last time. They won't give us. So that gives us Pats or Rovers. So you're probably, you're going to have one of the big four Dublin clubs in Cork opening night. That would be We Are Cork. That would be We Are Back. That would be 7,000 people in Turner's Cross, roaring and shouting abuse to the referee, abuse to the Dubs, abuse to everybody else. That's when you'll see the We Are Cork mentality back. People just don't feel like there's a need to have it at the moment, Wayne. It's just like... Or am I really going to go out and give it all the whole We Are Cork and we're better than you shit when we're playing Finn Harps? Like, we just don't care. And we've nobody to blame but ourselves. We keep saying that. We acknowledge that. We have nobody to blame but ourselves.
When you were saying how to get it back?
It's just a bit of fun. Let's not take everything so seriously. That's all, really. Bit of fun, bit of crack, a bit of Corkness back into the club. But Decky's right.
Go on a massive piss up somewhere over summer.
Some TOTAP Christmas party or something, maybe. The TOTAP promotion party. We're nailing that now. TOTAP promotion party.
Has there been anything announced for the 40th anniversary yet?
Well, it's next month, isn't it? Is the anniversary.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just, I don't know, cut an old cake at the foot golf or something.
If they do, after us giving them the space and time to do it themselves... I'll throw a wobbler, like. I'll absolutely throw a wobbler.
Well, that's where we swoop in and...
It's too late. No, we gave them the time and effort to do it. No, we could have easily gone against them and smashed out a massive party. It's July is the date, so it's 6 weeks. Better be something organised. Not something stupid like a foot shoe shite that they cancelled last year. No, do something for the fans. Don't do some dinner date in a fucking Kingsley. Do something proper. Have a nice pub, an outdoor pub, barbecue, the whole lot. Have a bit of crack. And let's celebrate Cork City. Let's not celebrate golf or something stupid. That's nothing to do with our football club.
Up the boy. We're going to our MVP following a 1-1 draw with Treaty. Your MVP nominations are Evan McLaughlin. He's left. He has left. Evan McLaughlin has got 52% of the vote. Greg Folger has 20%. Tara Crowley in third with 15%. And Sean Murray in fourth with 13%. Billy Dorney comments. Evan Mack all day long. Sean Murray equally as good. SM was sublime. Fully fit now, I reckon. He'd walk into any Premier Division team. Dickie, is Sean Murray walking into any Premier Division team?
No, not at the moment. I don't think so anyway, to be fair.
It's a 1-1 draw, so we go back to the traditional 2-word answer to sum all that up. Billy Dorney says, Sean Maguire. Maybe that was the SM he was on about. Shirts on the wall. Jamie says, stream better. Wayne says, L'estate Finendo. And a picture of some deck chairs. He's back. He'll ask him. Wayne, what's is L'estate Finendo about?
Oh, the summer's over. We drew a treaty. It's the end. Summer's at end.
Colin Bobbs says zero tactics. This used to be the Colin Bobbs 2-word answer, if I'm not mistaken. Or what was it?
It was a Colin Bobbs 1-word answer.
Yeah. One-word answer. Sean O'Mahony says absolutely shit. Ian Ryan says Lee Devitt. David Crowley says diagonal passing. CCFC translated says, or CCFC translated says Alec Byrne. Jason Shanahan says my derby. Sean says no plan B. Connor says feckin' airborne. James Greenham says laptop off. Crowley says strikers wanted. CL 2023 says boring. Patrick P says Patsy Frayne. Fionno C says nothing doing. Thomas says Groundhog Day. Beer-bellied Hoofer says mediocrity resumed. Magpie says €15. Ian Draper says sleep-inducing. Topper says Opus Dei. Liam Roach said it happened. Roy O'Sullivan says absolute drivel. LOI Observer says losing mentality. Ian Crowley says second best. RLOI Treaty United. That's the Roblox Treaty United page, is it? It isn't all. Says Super Lee Devitt. The Rebel Academy says zero creativity. Garrett, the real deal Holly Barry says City, and then some Asian looking, I don't know. Scotty CCFC says piss poor. Patrick P says dog shite. Craig Kiley says Cork scum. Tony Daly says pure shite. Linux Pizza says dirty gobshites. Stephen O'Neill says Junior F. Paddy Coonan says f*** off, you might be staying top of the league, but all the mighty Treaty United owns. Very eloquent. That is the most eloquent Limerick man in existence. Anyone that stood out there, T?
Start Fernando. It's quite good.
A bit try-hardy, was it, from that lad who sent it in? Yeah. Did Decky do you have a favourite?
Junior F. There was a semblance of that off at R8. Also a word for the last guy from Limerick there. I hadn't seen that before you read it out, but I think he has to go back and read the definition of what owning somebody or that is related to, because you don't own anybody after you draw one all with them, so.
Well, that concludes the first half. TOTAP. Come back to us in the second half, lads. We don't have just one game preview. We have 2 game previews. Oh, get excited. We have Decky's Room 101. And of course, we have the mailbag.
Hey, toe tapper. As you know, everything is increasing in price. Extra small clothes, anger management classes, raw liver is the same price as gold. And kids' sweets used to have 20 per pack and now only have 5 in each one. And Jack Doherty is on course to score 100 goals. And he's going to bleed us dry. We need you to help the gang by joining our Patreon for exclusive pods, news and much more. For $5 a month, you can ensure that Wayne doesn't smash up his laptop, that Dan has really small clothes, Eileen is satisfied, and Declan gets lots and lots of jellies. Head to patreon.com/TOTAP to support the cause.
Welcome back to part 2 TOTAPper. It is now time for our Athlone Town preview. Decky, where do you begin?
Do you know where you begin, Dan? With Athlone Town, where you always begin with Athlone Town. The quality of their stream. Best in the country by a mile.
Yeah.
So we get a chance to sit down Friday night. Best stream in the country. Goal cameras inside the nets, replays, everything you could properly want, right? No, Cork City are up there. I presume the owner of the club will be there. I presume the chief executive will be there. Everybody's there. Go find Anthony Quinn. Sit down with him, talk to him, and ask him for help. I'm sure he'll charge you. He should charge you. But, the expertise is out there. He's proven his worth alone. Let's get something done. Now, to be fair, obviously, the stream was much better on the Treaty game on Friday night. Numerous people have said it. Aaron addressed it on last week's Rappers Pod. He said it was an issue with internet and everything. I don't know. I have issues with internet here because I'm living in the middle of nowhere. That's Turner's
Wayne
Cross.
Mullins giving the Dwayne The Rock Johnson eyebrow.
It's the Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah,
Did we not say it was internet about 6 weeks ago? About 2 months ago? 3 months ago? Did we not say this? We did. And people said, no, it's not the internet. It is the internet. That's as simplistic as you can put it. It's the internet.
But they know that. But like, as I said, I hope, like, I don't understand how it can be the internet and Turner's Cross. I genuinely don't. Like,
drop packets
I'd give
it's dropping, so that's what the problem is. It works 1 minute and it's dropping, and it's
I'd give my 2 testicles for a fibre, like, you know, for a strand of fibre to run past my front door. Like, I mean, must be everywhere in Turner's Cross. Like, so as I said, I just don't understand it. But anyway, yeah. So look, please sit down, talk to Anthony Quinn, pick his brain, engage him, give him a contract, and tell him come down here and do our streams forevermore. Please.
There's a group in Cork that I tagged on on Twitter, and a group in Kerry. The fellas who do the Cove game, Relive It. They literally advertise on their game at the Cork City away game that they're doing the stream. Get them in and do it. There was an excuse. The podcast on Wednesday, you know, I listened to it. I told you I have to listen to this because I want to hear what they're saying. And they were saying like things like, "Oh, since we don't from the Premier Division, we got to do it ourselves." So like you're spending fortunes on other areas of the club, but you're not spending money on the part where you have people watching your games. I don't understand this. You can put it as, oh, it was a mistake, we didn't know. No, you were here 2 years ago, you knew exactly what was happening. The same thing was happening. Because if you go back on our podcast season 1, you would hear Damien Sheehan not getting LOI TV or watch LOI as it was.
That was just IPTV.
No, he didn't get it because it was a crap stream, and it was. So 2 years later, here we are again in the same situation, knowing exactly what was going to happen. And we're all going, oh, it's fine, don't worry, we'll get it up next week. No, it should have been done the first game of the season. I'm sorry, no, like, you could blame the internet all you want, but there was no replays at the start of the season. The streaming was crap. The quality was crap. And I don't think it's good enough. No, I'm not blaming anyone for saying it. It's the club's podcast. The club are saying it. So don't anyone come to me going, oh, you're attacking. I'm not attacking the football club. Because this is a decision from the very, very top. And to come along and say, it's fine. No, it's not fine. We're a professional football club. Act like it.
Jackie, I do love this Wayne. He's on smoke.
Oh, yeah, he's on fire. Yeah, like, I mean, and look, at loan, Dean Ebb is probably the top striker in the division at the moment. Top scorer with 9, himself and Mikey Rowe. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him. But again, Athlone have massive issues at the back. 2-0 up at home to UCD last week. Draw 2-2. You know, they're there to be got at. Look, again, it's a game we should win. I can't see why we wouldn't. Obviously, yeah, it's tricky going up there. It's a big, wide pitch. It's you know, it's an artificial surface. So I was going to say maybe Greg doesn't play, but he played in Cove and he played in Galway. He played in Kerry the week before. So, look, that means he should be playing in that loan on the same kind of surface. So, yeah, look, just go up and win the game again, as always. And just play at a quick pace, play at a quick tempo. For fuck's sake, like.
Oh my God. UCD Monday, 5:00. Wayne Mullins, I mean.
Yes.
I'm just on tenterhooks waiting for this one.
Well, I won't be there. I'm not there Monday, so I'll be gladly watching the stream.
Keeping an eye out, writing notes.
Keeping an eye out for all the flaws and stuff. But yeah, look, go out there and win the game. And he's going to have to change it up. Like, he's not going to play the same. He's in fairness, though, he does do a lot of squad rotation, which I'm a big fan of. But we never spoke in the game about the Jay Numa injury. So do we know if he's out this week or is he back training? Decky, do you know?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I haven't asked, to be honest with you. Obviously, Cahill is going to be out for a few weeks. I think about 6 weeks in total. He was telling people. So, don't know about Jade.
I do worry that these lads are too young playing too many games. I know you kind of disagreed with me on Friday, and I said at the start of the season that the lads they're too young to be doing this many games. They should be sub to 15 minutes to go, and here we are, 2 of the young lads injured.
Especially coming up against shithouse teams.
This is the thing; they're not playing in the continent. No, but still, you've a duty of care too. I think, Declan. I think we do.
No, but okay, yeah, and I understand.
I know everyone's saying that Jay Numa, he's a huge fella, right? He's like 6 foot whatever, and he's built. But mentally, there's still a 16-year-old, just 15, just 16. And I think it's a lot for, like, a minor at the start of the season I just don't know if it's right. And here we are.
Well, look,
with 2 of them injured.
Can I just make a case for...
Absolutely, go for it.
Tim Clancy and thing, right? So across the season, not including the treaty game Friday night, up until the start of the treaty game, when I'm counting the minutes, so like if there's 6 minutes injury time, I count 96 minutes for that game, right? Okay, it's not 90 minutes, whereas lots of people just stop at 90 minutes. So by my calculation, we've had 1,524 minutes available, match minutes available to players this season so far. Brad Wade, Charlie Lyons, King Coleman are the only 3 players who have played every minute so far. Jayden has only played 535 minutes of that 1,500 minutes. So he's only played a third of the minutes available, Scott,
How many minutes?
535.
So it's about 8
total.
Full games-ish?
8 9's 56. Yeah.
So how many games have you played in total?
18. So again, he's played a third.
17 so far.
For about 40% of games he's played full, if you put it that way.
No.
And he was 15.
That way, though. You can't.
No, that's what I'm doing. No. You can't have that stat not to say he's played. If you calculate the minutes together, which is what you're doing, he's played probably 40% of the games. Am I right in thinking that?
He hasn't. He's played 30. He's played a third of the minutes that have been available to him.
33%.
Yeah, I'll do the percentage for you there now very quickly.
That's what, about 5.6 games.
Just why we keep it. What's he done? 535, 1524 available. So 35.1%.
Okay.
Of the minutes available. I don't think that's too much, to be honest. I think he's been well managed, to be honest with you. I think the minutes.
And what's Carl O'Sullivan?
Carl O'Sullivan's played 1,100 minutes, 1,169.
Out of how many?
Out of the 1,500.
So he's
Carl has played
74%.
Carl has played twice as much as Jayden has played, basically.
Well, Jayden wasn't our starter striker when we had Nathan Wood up front, and then Jack Doherty's up front, and then he started up front for a few games. 4 games, was it 3 games in a row? No, 3 out of 4 games he started up front. He started 5 games, am I right?
Jayden, is it?
Yeah.
He started 4 games. He hasn't started back-to-back games.
So the treaty was the 5th game, no?
Oh, sorry. Yes, treaty would be the 5th game. Sorry, yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I'm
not saying Tim Clancy's wrong. I'm not saying individuals. I great respect for Tim Clancy. I think he's doing a great job. I just think as a football club, I'm not just saying this because they're injured. You know that you can go back on all the.
No, I do that. Yeah, no, I know that.
I think that they were too young, and I think it's just too much. And 2 boys now out. And I know you can get injuries anywhere. You can get injuries in friendlies. You can get injuries in... We were saying we didn't play our full squad against Wilton Shopping Centre in case you get injuries. I know what happens, but I think that it's just a bit too much, especially Carl. Carl is playing... I know he's an amazing player, but, they managed O'Brien Whitmarsh last year more than they've managed Carl this year, and he was older. You're not playing against tick-attack teams. You're playing against shithouses.
Carl's exceptional, and he's also a year older than Jayden, if he's not 18 months or so older than Jayden. And the thing about Carl did his cruciate playing under 17, wasn't it? So as you said, injuries can happen anywhere. I think personally, I wouldn't be critical. I think, especially Jayden. I think Jayden's minutes have been managed quite well.
That's fair enough. They have been more, yeah.
He's only played 1 full game, which was Wexford at home. Outside of that, he's kind of 61, 70 minutes was the most he's played in any other game. But I do understand what you're saying. They are young.
No, I get your point too. I do understand.
It's a funny one. It's a funny one. Yeah, it's a funny one to try and manage.
Will we go to Dickie's Room 101?
Yes.
Oh, Dickie's Room 101.
What did you change for 2025?
Do you know what I changed? And it popped up last Wednesday morning early as I listened to another podcast. I would change, it's nothing about Cork City. I would change our perception of I would change how other teams look at us, how the rest of the league views us. because Kevin Doherty was interviewed on a podcast. Kevin, of course, is the Drogheda manager. And he was talking about the strength of the league this year, etc. And he was talking about watching the playoff game last year and how they were at the manager. Now, I don't know, was it on the same night? It probably wasn't, but they were at some end of season awards thing. And there was a number of them talking, and they basically all agreed that once they saw Waterford coming into the Premier Division, having beaten us, that the Premier Division was going to be stronger than it was last year. And then he kind of realised what he was saying, and he was like, oh, no, but like, I mean, I'm sure Cork would have been strong as well, and they would have caused their own difficulties. But basically what he was saying was he didn't want Waterford in the division this year. He wanted Cork City because he reckoned he could handle Cork City much easier than they could handle Waterford. And I just thought, is this really where we are now? Is this really how the rest of the league looks at us? The fucking Drogheda United manager is telling us, without telling us, that he wanted Cork City in the league this year and not Waterford. Like, you know, so we've a lot of work to do in terms of how other teams look at us, how other clubs look at us, how other fan bases look at us. And basically what I want the club to do is give us back a bit of our self-respect and give us back a bit of our integrity, our self-belief, our ability to look the Dubs in the face and say, yeah, we are a serious football club. Yeah, we are a Premier Division football club. Yeah, we want to be here. Because, and this is nothing against Kevin Doherty. He wasn't trying to deliberately strike down Cork City or anything. It's just what I took from it. Like, it was clear he wanted Cork City in the Premier Division this year because he thought we'd be weaker than Waterford. I'm just going like, no, this perception of us has to change. And the only ones who can change it is us. But like Kevin Doherty knows, if we'd stayed up, Liam Buckley is still here. We have a random bunch of players who are no good. The dressing room is still in shit, like, you know. So he knew what he wanted, like, and we have to change it all. And that's why I'm glad Tim Clancy is here, because he strikes me as a guy who would change it and will change it. And I just hope he's here. I just hope he's here to change it next year.
It is now time to go to Penanka Patrol.
I've been jacking off, beating my meat.
His favorite player is
what else can I do? Cause my wet dreams are just getting chilled.
Did Jack Doherty score a Penanka this week for €250 for the much needed facilities in Marymount? There was actually a moment I thought Evan McLaughlin was going to hit the Penanka, but anyway. No.
I've been jacking off, beating my meat. You left me.
It gets more miserable every week.
What else can I do? Cause my wet dreams are just getting chilled.
Can I just say, the last few times I've had to edit this pod, I've had to cut out Dan singing in the background of this song because he's such a bad singer.
Oh, I'm terrible singer.
I'm a terrible
singer.
We'll leave it in this week.
Oh, it's shocking. It's shocking. Well, they already know that now anyway. Is Gary Hunt under pressure, Wayne Mullins?
So yeah, Longford and Cove drew 0-0 at Flanker Park, whatever Bishopsgate this day is it. Longford at bottom of the table. So is Gary Hunt under pressure? Maybe.
Undecided.
The jury's out this week. It's a draw, a point away from home. If that was home, he'd be under serious pressure from TOTAP. But look, he stays another week. He's in the job another week. That's
the main thing. I'm sure he's sweating over it. Decky, do you think Gary Hunt is under pressure at the moment?
No, not at all. I keep saying I keep like it.
Fourth bottom of the table, like how we not be under pressure?
No, stop, for God's sake, stop. No, absolutely not. No chance.
When does he become under pressure, Declan?
When he's no longer Eileen Ring's buddy.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay.
Well, you know he's really under pressure when this segment stops because we won't be able to do it. It is now time to go to our mailbag. What length of tune do we have in store for us today?
Oh, we're here now. Oh. Let's see.
I don't know. I need to find it now first. What's it under again? Oh, I can't find
it. That's a good joke.
Postman pattern in black and white cat. Cat me dress. Early in the morning, one bag of man is yawning. Him pick up all of the post bag in a him man.
Yeah, man.
A real bad man. Postman pattern, he mix up cat. Him team light skin. All of the bird them singing, but partner fool him a roll with the big thing. Just in case them try to rob him van.
Do you know how I know?
Dick, you were getting into it. You were getting into it.
No, I was laughing to myself. Do you know how I know it was too long? Dan was pondering his life choices halfway through that. He was just sitting there, stroking his chin, deep in thought about life, its meaning. You know, so that's how I know it's too long.
Boring Keane Coleman says, lads, I feel I'm getting to know Decky in a way that I could send a Christmas present of underwear from the Buin Community Centre. Lads, what's your favourite supermarket to shop in, to food shop in? Why? And what's your shopping weak spot in the supermarket? Go out to shop or delivery? Wayne Mullins, I feel you have an answer more prepared there.
We do the Aldi click and collect or a Tesco click and collect. I haven't been. We don't have gone to a weekly shop since COVID.
Just to pay extra for that?
Aldi, yes. Tesco, no.
Oh.
If you get delivered from Tesco's, you do. Dunn's the odd time, but Dunn's is very rarely can you get a spot for them. But yeah, that's my. I prefer Lidl.
Dunn's shoppers get very high and mighty with their little vouchers as well.
They're fantastic though, because if you go and eat those power meals, they're great for trying to lose the belly, and they're like you get €5 off €25, and they're €5 each, so you get like 5 and you get 1 free. So yeah, Dunn's is good too.
Declan McCormack,
like.
The co-op is
some football. This is some football podcast.
All the best content comes from outside of football.
Generally, we go to Tesco's and we go. I can't understand how people have shopping delivered. Like, I mean, there's big shop. Just go into the shop, put the stuff into your trolley, go up and pay for it, and go home. Like, I mean, it's not that big a task. I genuinely don't understand how people pay to get.
Why
stuff
would you go in if you
or,
can get it delivered to your car or to your home? Why would you go in?
But why would you not go in? Like, I mean, it's just like
because it's an hour of my day.
That could take a good hour. Like a good shop there, getting the bags in the car.
A good hour. Of course. Like, have we become that lazy? That busy? Do we not have an hour to do the shopping?
Do you know what?
Like,
this is classic. Living out in the middle of fucking nowhere, nothing else better to do. That's what this is now. You literally, I'd say you're excited. I'd say you dress up to it, your shirt and your tie and everything, and your brown shoes and blue jeans, and you're off to Tesco's on a Saturday afternoon, I'd say. That's you now with to a T.
There you go, bye. You have me again. And yes, I do go to Tesco's. Yes, Tesco's would be.
That's because there's nothing else around you, I'd say. There's probably for my co-op or something, and the cost cutter is probably next door to you, is it, or something? I don't know.
No, there's a cost cutter in Dromahane, all right, Kelly's cost cutter in Dromahane. You only get the milk and bread and that there, like, you wouldn't be doing the shop there, like, Aldi or Tesco's. Both
what's your shopping weak
facilities.
Spot?
Turkey burgers. I eat turkey burgers 4 nights a week. I'm serious, I do. I eat turkey burgers 4 nights a week.
I'm going to say chicken. Just like, we'd eat chicken, just like different types of chicken non-stop. Like, we definitely have chicken 4 nights a week.
Types of chicken, what?
Yeah. I would like, barbecue chicken, like just different ways. Like I roasted a full chicken the other day. I kind of barbecue chicken or just Chinese chicken and Chinese sauce, like, or I might do a nice chicken stir fry, like, it'd be very chicken based, all right. Like,
how many days a week would you eat chicken?
Probably 4, to be honest. Yeah.
Lads, I'm hitting 6 or 7 there, I'd say. On
You're
chicken.
probably on the Smash or something or the.
What, the what?
Do you ever have Smash? No.
It's like a smash burger.
No, it's Smash. It's basically potato, right? We
Potatoes.
used to eat this in college. It's in a packet. You pour hot water into it. It's what students eat like.
I've never
used to get-
seen one student.
Maybe it's not anymore.
Back
I
in the day,
used
it
to
was
have-
Bovril and
I used to have
Smash.
Smash, right? Smash with beans and like not Hunky Dories. Were Hunky Dories out then? Potato crisps all mashed
Hunky Dories
together.
weren't even around when you were knocking around.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. Was it potatoes or what was it? And mushed all in. That was my dinner every night as a student.
You put potatoes into beans
Yeah.
and smash.
Yeah. With mayonnaise and
Jesus
ketchup on it
Christ.
as well. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Don't knock it till you try it, lads. No, try it with Hunky Dories, buffalo with potato. It's lovely.
What's the weirdest thing you've eaten, Wayne Mullins?
Oh, jeez, that's a tough one. I had do you know what I had about 20 years ago? What's that raw mince? It's a name to it. Is it steak tartare or something?
I have no notion.
Anyway, it's raw mince, right? It was on brown bread. I had it in Germany, in Berlin. It was the nicest thing I've had in my life. But I didn't know it was raw mince. And as soon as the translation kind of came over after a few pints, I went straight to Jack's and I gawked it all up. But it was really nice at the time. That's probably the worst thing.
Yeah. But like the same with black and white pudding, like it's sick once you start thinking about it.
But you cook that, like?
Decky.
I had reindeer in Norway.
Evil bastard.
And yeah, I ate Dancer, Prancer, and the rest of the lads. Like, but that's probably the weirdest thing I've had. Just there are many people would have had reindeer, I'd say, but we went way up north, somewhere than where we were. We were Norwegian friends, and next thing they produced this, and we ate it, and then they told us it was reindeer. It was like Wayne's reaction. That was my reaction as well. Like bastards, like But
Jesus, was it nice?
It was, yeah. Very delicate meat. Like, yeah.
Would you not get a bit of a craving for reindeer now that you're here and make it a bit of a taste and now you have no option? Like, when it's Christmas Eve, you stand outside with a shotgun.
Yeah, do I have a craving for reindeer? Dan, I haven't thought about eating reindeer, and I don't know how long ago. It was about 15 years more. As you said, like, it's not like I'm waiting for Rudolph to pass the front window there so I can get out the shotgun and do him, like,
How would you, Dan?
No.
Where do you go shopping?
Where do I go shopping? Little, I'd say. Yeah, to be close one to me. I usually just get chicken goujons. Whore for chicken goujons.
They're nice, all right.
Yeah. One of the lads got an air fryer in the gaff here as well. It's incredible. Like, I was like, this obsession with the air fryer thing is just, it's a fad. It's a phase. But
do you ever make nachos?
The hype is real. The hype is real. I did actually. They're class. The cheese melts perfectly on them. Just leave it in for like 90 seconds.
You can cook burgers in the air fryer and they're lovely too.
You can cook loads. I see no one that do a hard-boiled egg in the air fryer.
What?
Roast potatoes are my favourite thing out of the air fryer. No.
We'll just take an air fryer to turn us cross and start charging people.
We should just have a podcast episode on food.
That could be a Patreon.
The next Patreon.
Ian Crowley says, with the transfer window fast approaching, is there anybody on your radar as a potential signing?
Your man, Treaty. Is Devitt is his name?
Lee.
Quite good.
Decky's going, what are you on about?
I am, to be honest with you. Like,
are you okay? I wasn't even drinking Friday night.
I have a few in mind, all right, Dan. But I mean, it depends. Like, what are we doing this summer? Are we starting to prepare for next year? Are you spending some of next year's budget to bring guys in this summer? I don't know. But look, a few names I've been thinking about the last few weeks. I think we got to go for a very specific type of player. A player who was either done very, very well in the first division previously, and it kind of has shown potential to play Premier Division football, but it hasn't worked out for him. So somebody like Leo Gaxa, who went up to Galway from Kerry last year and just hasn't gotten minutes at Galway. Mm-hmm. Could we get him on loan for the rest of this season, have a look at him, and then make a decision in the off season? I think that's one I might look at exploring. Sam Todd, at Derry City is another one I think that fits the mould. He had a very, very good time of it at UCD, centre back, which is a position we all agree that we will need to fill in the Premier Division. Sam Todd is very good at UCD, went to Derry, not this season, last season, and he just hasn't gotten game time up there. I mean, Mark Conley, McElhenney, McJanis, they're all in front of him, and he hasn't been able to get in. And ironically, he got a start last Friday night in the game against Sligo, and I was talking to somebody today who was at the game. I just said, look, how did Todd get on? And they said he was brutal. Absolutely brutal, and he was taken off, and McJanet came on, and I was like, perfect, because sometimes there has to be a reclamation project. You know, this guy has played well in the Premier Division, has proved it in the Premier Division, has also proved that he'll leave Dublin and go to Derry, so that's an added bonus, and that, you know, there's an element that he should be willing to come to Cork. Again, you're just trying to pick names and scenarios that it might, you know, they're players who might have something to prove and who want to prove it, but have proven it at Premier Division level. Well, Sam Todd has to a degree proven it at Premier Division level. Who else? The Rory Keaton stuff isn't going to go away. The Keaton stuff is going to start, and it's not going to go away.
He's not coming back here. Would you stop?
I think there's legs.
There's no chance. No chance.
Okay.
He's not coming back.
Not this summer. Obviously, not this summer. Yeah, look, I just think that the Keaton one will build, and whether it happens or not, like, you have to imagine that it won't, but I think it will build. But there's two I've been thinking about that fit the Premier Division mould, and again, I have no idea whether they would or they wouldn't, but one is Max Mata, who's gone back to Shrewsbury from Sligo. Didn't kick a ball with Shrewsbury when he went over initially. No idea whether the plan is to stay in Shrewsbury, whether Shrewsbury plan to hold on to him or whatnot. But it's a call I'd be making and asking, look, what is the story? What are you doing? Could you persuade Max Mata to come down here and play First Division football for 4 months, knowing that he's going to play Premier Division football again next year in front of 5,500, 6,000 people every week? I'd hope that you could, because what would his options be in the Premier Division? He's not going to go to a Shamrock Rovers, Shelbourne, the top clubs. Sligo can't afford to bring him back. That's why they won't. So there's only 2 or 3 clubs there, and I think we would fit the mould. I don't know, because I said I could be talking out through my ass, but it's a phone call I'd be making. And the other phone call I'd be making would be to Scott Hoy, who left Dundalk recently. He was on loan from Huddersfield, did his hamstring, so he's gone back to Huddersfield. Very, very good in the centre of midfield. I know Dundalk are rubbish, but Hoy was quite good for them. Very good. Again, he might be ending up making 500 appearances for Huddersfield. I have no idea. But I think you pick up the phone and you ring and you ask the question, is there any chance, if we gave you a 2.5-year contract, that if you're leaving Huddersfield, you come back here and you guaranteed to play Premier Division football again in a much better environment than you did at Dundalk? I think they're the kind of players you have to look at with a view to next year. But as I said, none of them might be possible. None of them might be doable. I don't know. They're just the ones in my head that I would be checking in with to see what their plans were, see what their situations are, you know.
Linux Pizza says, how far do you think we'll go in the FAI Cup? This is our only hope for excitement this year, realistically.
Depends who you draw. Simple as, really. You can't really think it much more.
Yeah, it is. It's the draw. Like, I mean, as I said, I want the shopping centre first up. Steamroll them into the third round.
Yeah, that's no gimme either.
The shopping centre is no gimme.
As we found out. Patrick P says, I saw Dan in the Europa League final fan zone. Will Cork City ever be in Europe again? Wayne Mullins, you like your European days.
We will, but it won't be for another... Right, unless we win a cup. League-wise, we're not going to get there for half a decade, I would say.
I had 5 years in my mind when I was thinking there.
Unless we've got to go on a cup run, of course, that is possible.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely. Like, I understand why you're both saying 5 years, but Shelbourne did it in 2. From coming out of the Premier, out of the First Division, they won the First Division. They solidified. Finished, was it 7th or 8th first season up, and then last year they qualified for Europe, and this year they're on the verge of winning the league. But that's a very, very unique and special set of circumstances that Shelbourne have created.
We did the same under Tommy Dunn and John Caulfield.
Yeah, It is possible, but I think it's becoming harder, you know. There's like Shelbourne have gotten more investment there now in the last week. St. Pat's are obviously going to put in a pile of money in behind Stephen Kenny. Obviously, we already know what Derry are putting in. We know what Shamrock Rovers are putting in. All of a sudden, because we're not even in the division, you can actually get locked out. You can get excluded when the top four just end up having so much money, etc. And it just becomes very, very hard then to break into, you know.
Colin Walsh says, would you prefer Forest with Usher's budget or the current board now?
What?
Would you prefer Forest with Usher's budget or the current board now?
There is no current board. There's no current board.
It's just a question that I can't answer that question.
Anthony Falvey says, which is more boring, Cork City at home or boring Keane Coleman?
Oh, tough one.
If he keeps asking questions about where we go shopping, like, there's only going to be one winner anyway, that's for sure.
That's the best conversation we had all night.
Yeah, exactly.
And Gareth, the real
This is like the treaty game. It started off slow and ended up fantastic with a load of jeopardy.
Holly Barry says, City at home, at least boring Keane is trying to be entertaining. And then Gareth, the real deal Holly Barry, writes a question of his own. I'm sorry, but the dribble on the pitch is 100% shite. It's feckin' boring, and because of that, the atmosphere at the Cross is tripe. Surely we can play a better brand of football than this. Jesus Christ, like.
Oh, I thought that's a poem. He wrote a poem, did he? Read that again.
Did he?
He did. I tell you,
he gave us permission to put up the video.
He didn't.
No.
He came back a second time about 3 days later and did say put it up if you want. But like when a fella says no initially, I'm always tending to stick with the initial no. Like, no, like people may not believe that there was a video, but like, please believe it. I tell you, folks, there was a video. He was in the woods. He was in the woods in Lisgould. There was a car parked with him filming it, and like, oh yeah, it's like interesting. But no, when I say film it, he just filmed the car. He was running around the woods, like, you know, he goes, "Oh, there's a car," like whatnot, like. But yeah,
anyway, we better move on from that for legal reasons.
Yeah.
Somebody in the DM says, lads, just listening to the pod about City making their own merch next season, since it'll be a Rebel Army brand, are we going to have a Ra on the kit where the Adidas logo used to be? That could cause issues.
It could. Linfield away would be great fun. Yeah.
Decky, do you think, would you proudly wear a Ra on your crest? Or shirt?
Would it not be RAC with the, you know, Rebel Army clothing, or the Royal Automobile Club, whichever the two? But be it RAC or it's going to cause trouble for one section of the northern community anyway, no matter what happens. So hopefully we won't be drawn away in Europe in the north.
And that concludes the mailbag. I think that concludes this episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Lads, any final farewells to the TOTAPers out there?
Yeah, I just want to say my prediction for the games is 1-1 on both games.
Ah, shit. I forgot it.
Adios for me.
Yeah, adios.
Oh, and the song of the week, my choice. It's either going to be Aha, Take On Me, or Eagle Eye Cherry. I'm not sure which one yet.
But hold on a minute. You were saying you play this song so it doesn't go into the rappers, but yet both of you have admitted to listening to the rappers pod during our pod. So you can't be judging the TOTAPers out there.
I listened because of the streaming discussion. Because people said I'd be annoyed if I listened. So I had to listen to it.
Just to get you annoyed. You just knew.
First I said I won't listen to it because I don't want to ruin my weekend. But then I did listen to it because I needed to hear it. And I felt very let down.
It's research. We come on this pod. We do our research before we come on this pod. Wayne felt he had to listen to it for research purposes.
Because I didn't believe Declan. I didn't believe him. So I had to listen to it for myself. Well, I asked him to record it for me, so I didn't have to give him a listen. He wouldn't do that, so I had to listen. I did listen. I did, and I just felt a bit let down, that's all.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.
misery. Save tonight, fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight, fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. There's a log on the fire, and it burns like me for you. Tomorrow comes with one desire, to take me away. Oh, it's true. It ain't easy to say goodbye. Darling, please don't start to cry. 'Cause girl, you know I've got to go. Oh, and Lord, I wish it wasn't so. Save tonight and fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight and fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Take me away. I wish that I could stay. Girl, you know I've got to go. Oh, Lord, I wish it wasn't so. Save tonight, fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight and fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight and fight the break of dawn.